Part 4. So you're saying if this big dude who's got some mental illness and does erratic shit sometimes
and fits the profile,
if he's black, right?
Yeah.
If he's still alive, the cops can't be that bad.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. But then I'm gonna push back real quick and just make the point to make it. Your story earlier, like, you felt super free and safe in those handcuffs because now they're no longer threatened by you. Fast forward, George Floyd was in handcuffs. And they killed that motherfucker. That's a really not nice way to talk about him. I think he's probably a great person. You get my point? Like,
yeah. He's somebody that maybe in the beginning didn't comply with the 3.
Maybe not.
It was to that thing, and I don't want to necessarily talk about specific ones, and the reason why is because I don't want to shame anybody that's died, but also
no way.
Where I can take that is I don't want you to channel into when you're in a situation like that. I don't want you to channel into other shit that's going on.
You know what I think about to go along? Don't channel into that. Is what I think about in my interactions is what's the best way to, what's going to happen and what's the best way to get through it. So I think about your situation with the cops who, look, it sucks that the cops said for your safety and for mine, I'm going to put you in handcuffs when you have done nothing. It sucks, in my opinion, that he said that. But I have to ask myself, in that moment, I would hope that I would think, okay, he's going to fucking put me in handcuffs anyway. He has already made that decision that he needs me in handcuffs. So, if I get into handcuffs, or if I don't get into handcuffs, if this guy's gonna fuck me up, what's my bet? It's gonna happen anyway. So do I resist the handcuffs and then perhaps escalate the situation, and now he's beating me up in order to put me in handcuffs? Or do I just let him put handcuffs on me? Because if I resist, this is what I'm trying to get at. If I let him put handcuffs on me, then I'm in handcuffs. If I don't let him put handcuffs on me, then I'm going to get in a fight with a cop, and they're going to end up having me in handcuffs anyway. Because there's a bunch of them, you said, and just me.
So you're buying into the man in the mirror and just making it an
I think
infinity.
So.
You're channeling into that energy of what's going on, and you can be mindful of what's going on, but do it as a German,
right? Stoically, and with your own integrity intact, right? Yeah. Being authentic. Yeah, I just think that,
and part of the reason why I was frustrated on that situation was a big one, is like I was already upset about from the Bible study of these people that were glorifying being a eunuch, and also I put into the after, like, that the police stopped me because I'm not a eunuch. Like right. so like a lot of times it's like, oh, please don't fuck with me and everything like that. You're a motherfucking eunuch. like trust me, you might be, and I'm not saying because you're white you're a eunuch. I'm talking about you're doing everything. You have like perfect credit, right. like all that stuff. You're not trying to like disturb like the stuff that's going on. But I'm doing like I'm not like the stuff that I'm doing in the world. I'm not doing it with like foot soldiers and everything like that. I mean, I'm influencing stuff like at a bigger level, even to help like all of mankind. But the reason why they stopped me is because, depending on if it was at night or it happened, 4 African Americans were in a car and they hit a fence in front of somebody's house. That's why they stopped me with 2 SUVs and cuffed me. Again, Neil, that was a student that actually did time in prison. They're not stopping him if 4 white guys with glasses like that
ran through a fence.
Ran into
they'd be looking for 4 dudes driving around in a car somewhere.
Yeah. And that's one of the things. It's like, where's your car? That was one of the first things they said to me.
I don't have one.
I don't have a fucking car. like, okay, is the conversation over? But going back to like after that situation, I was like so fucking happy. like, because I fucking just like totally disarmed those guys, and they never ran my shit because this guy was getting so stressed. Because I'm like, do you know who the fuck I am? I write fucking children's books, like, which is like is true.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, but I'm not somebody at that level, but I'm like asking like questions and everything because I was.
And you're in handcuffs, so you can speak.
Because he was like, you're gonna understand when you hear what happened, type stuff, and I was like, I've been stopped for attempted murder before, like you're saying like 4 guys hit a fence. And then, like,
and
I'm also just be walking around here fucking later type shit?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. And that's a good question that you could ask these cops, right? Like, wait, 4 guys hit a fence in this neighborhood, and you, for some reason, think they're still in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Who does that?
Yeah.
They're gone. You guys are looking in the wrong place.
Yeah. And I'm like, there's so much to go into on there that I didn't want to necessarily. So again, the steps, eye contact, no
lateral movements, fast jerky movements.
Yeah, none of that. And you got to realize that, oh, I shouldn't have to like worry about this. I shouldn't have to do this, or something a guy said to me the other day. He's like, when I was trying to explain to him like how I felt when the police officers come in there, he's like, I've never felt that way, and it's a pattern that a lot of like it's a liberal mindset, which I don't think is a bad. I was gonna say all bad, but I don't think it's bad. But I think with humility, you can have an understanding of what it's like to be a woman, even if you're not a woman.
Sure.
With a level of humility, you can have compassion without getting sucked in and buying into like if there's 2 sides, and not between us, but if there's 2 sides between people that are Blue Lives Matter and then Black Lives Matter, if there's 2 sides to that, you can have compassion for the other side. Like, for instance, I love the students at San Diego State, and I found compassion for the police officers because I knew sometimes when a student commits suicide that they have to be the first person
to deal with that.
They have to go to deal with it, because there's one of 2 things that happen. It's like, one, they're actually feeling that, or they're cutting off part of who they are.
Right.
And
probably the latter, which is terrible.
Yeah. They don't. A lot of them don't have the proper self-care. For that.
Yeah, they're not.
Every time, like, I'm in my lift and I have a police officer, that's where I'm not German. I'm able to be my authentic self when I have a police officer that's like in my car. Yeah. I think that's a place that can get, and I'd like to see I would like, even for me personally, that the whole world was like there. But I can say to him, I can say, I forget where I was going.
I feel you. I feel your pain.
I feel your pain. So it's that situation.
I empathize with you. Like, I can be on the side of the Blue Lives Matter guys. I can empathize with them, right? Because, like you said, man, cops are the guys who have to go. I mean, cops a lot of times are the people who show up on the scene of someone who killed themselves. That's heavy. And
that's going to change the way you're doing. And if Carl Jung talks about your shadow self, when you cut off a certain part of it, you're creating a Hitler. Like, right. And this is with everybody. This is with my 6-year-old niece, as sweet as she is. She has a shadow self. I don't want to snitch on my niece, but I got to tell this story. So, at one of the family dinners, she goes to me. She goes, Uncle Steve, if you were alive when if I was alive when Jesus was alive, I would say, hey, you guys, don't kill him. And then she goes to me, she was 5 at the time, she goes, and if you were there, Uncle Steve, we could have killed the people that killed Jesus. And I was in shock. Very few times do I not have the right, not necessarily the right, I don't have something to say, but also a lot of times a good thing to say. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, with a 5-6-year-old, like, man.
Yeah. There's so much with that story to go into there and everything like that. But also I was like, okay. The thing I took away from it is like, okay, she's a revolutionary, just like her Uncle Steve, and she's 5 now. We have 13 years to like shape that, like, very strong before she's in a situation that
goes south.
She's trying to go too far because I'm not a man of violence.
No.
I try not to even be violent with my words, let alone going further on. Go ahead.
So I think the point behind all this is, I think what you're trying to get at, and I'm on board, is that we just want to help people create their own protocol. Like you said, police have protocol when they interact with people. Like, we should have a protocol when we interact with police. I understand that I have some real privilege in that arena. I do not deal with the shit that you have dealt with and that other people of color and other groups have dealt with. I get it. Having said that, I still think it's good advice, and I love that it's coming from you. There's 3 things you can do when you're going to interact with a cop. You can keep eye contact right off the bat. I mean, these things just come naturally to me, but you might have to think about that. Like, okay, I'm going to look this guy in the eye. Then I'm not going to move laterally or quick, like jerky movements. I'm going to stay calm, going to kind of be that German, like stoic person. And then I'm going to listen to this guy, and I'm going to comply. And I love that you said complying sometimes feels like you're abandoning yourself. You're betraying yourself. Because you're going to comply in a situation where you shouldn't fucking have to. Like, you didn't do anything. But I love that you pointed out the time you did comply and they put you in cuffs, it was liberating. Because now you could say whatever you felt like saying to these guys because they weren't threatened anymore.
And I was like that when I was going to potentially get cuffs, which I wasn't, but I thought it was, and it was strange that he all of a sudden like cleaned my pinkies together. I guess he's because they're searching and everything. There might be a legitimate thing for there, but it didn't feel like that. Right. I would have liked him to say that I'm going to be holding your pinkies together. It might feel a little
you
odd.
Would have liked the police officer to do what I think we're suggesting people do, which is don't do anything erratic, don't do anything that's unknown right now.
Like police, when they're training, they get shot with mace, so they know what it's like. Right. And I've never been shot with
Me
mace.
neither.
But I would say it would probably be harder to comply if I was shot with mace. I don't know. I may freak out.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah. I
don't think you're thinking at that moment. I think you're in that fight or flight scenario, and your brain is just taking over.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's great. I think we've discussed it. Like, there's 3 things that we feel like people should try to be mindful of when they interact with police officers. And that's keep eye contact, no jerky lateral movements, and just listen and comply with these guys. And then I love the idea of going into that scenario with some empathy. Like, this cop has a heightened awareness right now. Whether it's justified or not, he's decided to stop me. So what's my best way to deal with this?
Correct. And I don't want to worry about like and say it is bullshit. And say being German may make you more suspicious, but you won't be as much as seem as a threat.
That's right.
And I like to go into this saying there's not going to be any court case, so I'm going to handle it right here. You could have a court case if they do something wrong and everything like that. That stuff can be handled by lawyers, and that can be handled in the future. And
if you resist, or if they think you're resisting, even if you're not, then you could have a court case. Now you are getting arrested, even though you still haven't done anything. Again, what's going to happen? They want to put me in cuffs. It fucking sucks that they said that, because now that's what is. They are going to put me in handcuffs, and I can either let them do it right now, or I can resist. And dude, if I got 100 people behind me and there's 5 cops, then I might resist. But if it's me by myself on a street somewhere, look, man, they're going to have me in cuffs one way or the other, so here we go. It is what it is.
And an example of when I almost didn't comply when he put my when I put my fingers together. We're going to go into this because it's getting to the point. We'll go into a second.